that none but I can destroy them. These creatures, when they are released into the world, with their power, would utilize that power given to them by Allah to fulfill a mission Allah has given to them. And that mission, that function is there in the verse in Surah Al-A'raf. وَإِذْ تَأَذَّنَ رَبُّكَ لَيَبْعَثَنَّ عَلَيْهِمْ إِلَى يَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ مَنْ يَسُومُهُمْ سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ. And your Lord has announced He's now going to release into the world those who are going to inflict upon them until the last day the worst possible punishment. So you cannot destroy them, not until the last day. Gog and Magog, of course, are human beings, not some strange creatures with ears from here to San Fernando and tall from here to the clouds. They are human beings. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, they are Banu Adam. Banu Adam, human beings. So Zulkarnain says, okay, I'll build a barrier. But bring me blocks of iron, zubarul hadid. Bring me blocks of iron. Hadid is something strange. Hadid is not only a businessman in Port of Spain. We have lots of Hadid in Port of Spain, Syrian and Lebanese businessmen with the name Hadid. But Allah says about Hadid in the Qur'an, iron, Hadid is iron. Something strange. He says, and He's not said this about any other mineral substance on earth, about any other metal. He said, وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدِ and we sent down iron. Maulana Fazlur Rahman Ansari rahimahullah, in his book Quranic Foundations and Structure of Muslim Society, and we still have the Pakistani edition, and it belonged to Maulana Sulaimani, and he's selling it at a very reasonable price. وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدِ, Maulana Ansari says this may indicate that iron did not constitute part of the original constitution of the earth, and that iron came subsequently, perhaps through a meteorite, in accordance with the divine plan, strikes the earth. وَأَنزَلْنَا الْحَدِيدِ, so bring me blocks of iron. And with the blocks of iron he built a barrier which barred the pass between the two mountains. And after he had built the barrier, he said, now blow with your bellows. And he took copper, which would prevent the iron from rusting. We got some engineers here as well. And then the molten copper was poured on the iron barrier. And when it was built, he said, as Alexander the Great could not have said, have you got peanuts in your head? How could Alexander say, هذا رحمة من ربي? This barrier is built in accordance with Allah's rahmah, because of Allah's kindness. Now listen to what follows. Could never have come from the lips of Alexander. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي, but when that time comes of which my Lord has warned, when Allah is ready to now release into the world those who are now going to inflict upon them until the last day the worst possible punishment, سُوءَ الْعَذَابِ. فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكَّ, Allah is going to bring down the barrier. And Allah's warning will then come to pass. Then follows an ayah which qualifies perhaps as the most difficult in the whole Qur'an. Allah then says, after Zulkarnain said, هَذَا رَحْمَةٌ مِنْ رَبِّي فَإِذَا جَاءَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي جَعَلَهُ دَكَّاءَ وَكَانَ وَعْدُ رَبِّي حَقًّا. Allah then says, وَتَرَكْنَا بَعْدَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ. There's nothing in the Quran as difficult as this. You have to study a lot of international politics to be able to penetrate this. وَتَرَكْنَا بَعْضَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ. Yamuj, mauj is a wave. When the barrier is brought down and Gog and Magog are released, then a day will begin, and a day with Allah could be like 1,000 years in your counting, eh? At the conclusion of which Gog and Magog are going to come against each other, like waves crashing against each other. A Gog and Magog confrontation, a Gog and Magog fight it out. The Bible speaks about that. And so this appears to be one of the meanings. That at the end of history there's going to be a catastrophic collision between two forces of equal power and indestructible power. Two forces that are equally powerful. When we leave the Qur'an and go back to the Hadith, we find about Gog and Magog that they are people whose power, this is back in the Qur'an. Inna ya'juja wa ma'juja mufsiduna fil ard. They are people who have power, indestructible power, but they use their power in a way which is opposite to that of Zulkarnain. We just described to you how Zulkarnain would use power, when power rests on the foundations of faith. But these people use power in exactly the opposite way. They use power to commit Fasad. They use power to oppress. If power on the foundations of faith was used to punish the oppressor, now a second age emerges. That was Qarn number 1, this is Qarn number 2, Qarnain. An age is going to come at the end of history when power in the world will rest on foundations, such foundations that power will be used to oppress. Zulkarnain. Power will be used to target those who have faith and whose conduct is righteous. It does not matter whether you are Pakistani or whether you're a Jimmy Carter. It does not matter. Once you have faith, once you have decency, once you have a standard of righteousness, it matters not whether you are Egyptian or you are Ramsey Clark. They're going to come after you. Whether you're black or whether you're white makes no difference. They're going to come after you. Because power will now be used to target those who have faith and whose conduct is righteous. And Gog and Magog will act differently from Zulkarnain on that side as well, that other journey. That the entire world of primitive peoples are now going to be butchered. A time is going to come in history where those who have eyes will see that the primitive way of life